for every decision we make. Father, we lift up our police department, our fire department, Lord, all those that put themselves at risk to protect us. Father, we just ask you would bless them and their families, put a hedge of protection around them, and just watch over them and keep them safe. Lord, we lift up our school district as they're celebrating the summer. Father, we just would have and be ready for the fall when the next school year gets here. Again, we just thank you for this community. We just ask you would watch over it and keep it safe. And it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Scott Rogers. Here. Councilmember Stacy McKinney. Here. Councilmember Caleb Allen. Here. Councilmember George Martinez. Here. And Councilmember Craig Baker's out this evening. I'll move on to item number 3, citizens wishing to address City Council. 3 minutes per speaker is allowed on any item related to the city, including items listed on the agenda. 5 minutes will be allowed during a public hearing. Citizens may speak at the beginning of a meeting or at the time the item comes before council in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.007. Comments will be allowed before considering each item on the agenda, provided that the city secretary has received a speaker request form before the start of the meeting. No action may be taken by the city council during public comments. I do have several that is tied to a specific item, and then I've got 3 right now just in general. Did we have any more turned in? Okay. All right, then I'm going to start with 3. First, Miss Monica Workman, if you would please come up. And if you would please, ma'am, just state your name and address.
05 South 4th Street. I was hoping to go after George, but since y'all called me first, it's about changing our address. 4th Street has always been 148, and now it's turning to 3039. I don't see the reason why we have to change 4th Street. I've already gotten a letter saying that we're supposed to start changing our address, and the first time I do it, it comes back that it's a not recognizable address. So I just don't see the purpose in why we can't just leave 4th Street, 4th Street. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, next I'll call up Deborah Woodley.
I'm Deborah Woodley, and my address is 801 South 4th Street, and I want to talk about the need to change addresses on that street. 4th Street has always been FM 148. We've lived there 34 years, and it has been that way this whole time. And there's never been any confusion about whether it was FM 148 or South 4th Street. Now we're being asked to change the street area in there is changing to FM 3039, which is fine. I understand that, but why can it not still stay 4th Street and not have to make all these people change their addresses? I would guess that there's probably 40 residences and buildings, businesses. Some of the schools are in this particular area, and they're all going to have to change their addresses. I understand that it's no different than if you moved to a new residence, you'd have to do all this address changing, but all these people in this area are not moving. We're still at our same place, and we're being asked to make all these driver's license, all the different things that you have to go through when you change your address. The post office is going to have all these change of address forms, sent into them. And I don't really see a need for it. And I know there's a lot of us that don't really see a need, since I know 34 years myself, 4th Street has also been FM 148. Why can't Fourth Street be FM 3039 and leave all the addresses as they are? Why does changing FM 148 to 3039 have to change Fourth Street? So that's my thoughts.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, and then George Woodley, if you would come up.
I'm George Woodley Jr., and I reside at 801 South 4th Street here in Crandall. I want to discuss the address changes. We understand the state changed the designation of the roadway, but that roadway has been the state roadway, I don't know how many years. We've been here 34 and a half years. I talked to the city secretary. She directed me to the 911 addressing person in the county. The 911 addressing person in the county told me that the city had control over the addressing and they had agreed to it. So we have that issue of who did what for whom. My big question is who benefits from the change? I don't see anybody benefiting. The only person I would see benefiting would be somebody that sold street signs. When they come back in and say that street is now FM 3039 in order to match the addressing. Don't really see the need for it. I don't know who benefit. And what I asked the city to do is to reject the addressing changes. Just tell 911 we're fine with what we are as long as it was 4th Street. I understand the people that are on 148 had 148 addresses have to change the address into 3039. There's no question of that. I believe that the changing is disruptive, unnecessarily disruptive, with no gain. There's really not a gain that I see for anybody. I appreciate your time.
All right. All right, we'll move on to item number 4, announcements by the mayor, city council members, or staff. At this time, reports about items of community interest on which no action taken may be given per chapter 551.0415 of the of the government code. Did anyone have any community announcements this evening? Okay, go ahead.
All right, update on neighbors helping neighbors. We're still in need of volunteer help in yards, both in the ESD and in the city limits. Now have several requests in the ESD. Lawns need to be, things like that.
ETJ.
ETJ, I'm sorry. We also need in donations for some window units. As you know, it's really hot out there and some people there go out. We just can't afford the AC. That's part of our service. We provide that. We've had one 97-year-old lady come in, no AC. Jason was able to work that out, get her there running pretty quick. Thank you for doing. Yeah, just please reach out to Jason. We can volunteer.
All right, good deal. Anyone else? All right, then we'll move on to item number 5. Communications from the mayor and council. Received council member requests for future agenda items, current and future items of community interest, and other items of interest regarding the city of Crandall. This is where if you would like to have something added, to the next agenda at the next meeting, now would be the time to ask for that. I do have one this evening, and it kind of falls back on the 3 citizens we just had speak. David, can we have an agenda item regarding the address change and just why and if possible, if we could have somebody from TxDOT here. I don't know if that'd be Nick or somebody else, but obviously we've got people wanting to know what's going on, and I'd like to try to give them some information. So if we could have that. Did anyone else have anything they'd like to add? All right. All right, then I'll move on to item number 6, updates and discussion by the city manager and staff. And I will turn it over to our city manager.
Have two updates or reminders, actually. So the first update or reminder that I have is, make sure this thing is on. Anyways, the first reminder that I have is about our council retreat. It will be taking place on July 11th. I'll be sending out more details to the council as far as the agenda. We already have the venue secured and everything planned for it. Our moderator as well. So we're looking forward to spending the day with the council. The next update that I have is regarding the upcoming budget workshop. That is going to take place on July 11th. That's a Wednesday, and it will start at 6 p.m. Those are the only two updates that I have for the council tonight. Do you have any on the 15th? The 15th, yes. Yeah, I thought that's what I said, but yeah, July 15th, that's a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Do you have any questions for me or any comments? Very good. Thank you.
Three items under the consent agenda this evening. Hey, Serena, will you turn the thermostat down just a little bit too? Okay. We have three items. Item A is to consider an act on approval of city council minutes from June 15th, 2026. Item B, to consider an act on resolution number 07062026, dedicating a butterfly garden and pollinator conservation area as part of the city's park and recreation development efforts, supporting conservation, environmental education, native habitat restoration, and sustainable park design. And then item C, consider an act on resolution 07062026A, setting public hearings for the annexation by the city of Crandall of approximately 35.05 acres of city-owned property, legally described as a part of the Gilliland Survey, abstract number 167, Kaufman County, Texas, located at 13125 Lewis Street, Crandall, Texas, 75114. You should have a copy of the minutes in your packet. And then on items B and C, I know item B, this is part of our effort to obtain the grant for the new park we have. And part of that is this butterfly garden. This just strengthens our chance to obtain that grant, which is why we want to dedicate a portion of the park for that purpose. And then item C is to move towards annexing that property into the city. So if you have any questions on either of these three items or any of these three items, please ask our city manager. If there are no questions, I would just need a motion.
Consent agenda.
Okay, I've got a motion from Caleb and a second from Scott. All those in favor? All right. We'll move on to item number 8, discussion and possible action on the reappointment of John Garvin, place 4, to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I don't know if John's here this evening. I know John's been on that board for some time now, and I think it's the president of the board now since our council stole all their members. And I think he's done a good job. So I appreciate him being willing to serve again. And anybody have any issues with John Garvin being reappointed? Okay, I've got a motion. I've got a motion to approve from Scott and a second from Stacy. All those in favor? All right. We'll move on to item 9, and then I do have a couple of people that would like to speak on that. So, sorry. First, Josh, Chief. I will say Chief Woodham now. Congratulations. But if you would come on up.
All right. Good evening, council. My name is Josh Woodham. I'm the new fire chief for Kaufman County ESD 7. I'm also a resident here. I live at 127 Angelina Drive over in the Ridgeview area. So first of all, obviously, I'm up here for a reason. We saw something that came out of an executive session about pursuing opportunities with Seagoville Fire Department in the city of Seagoville. As the current service provider, obviously that was a surprise to some of us. And I just wanted to come up here tonight and kind of tell you about who we are, try to get through my 3 minutes and get this information out as quick as I can. So first, I just want to address a few rumors that we've heard that have been out there. And one of those is the amount that some of our firefighters make. We don't have any firefighters making over $300,000 a year. That's a rumor that's been out there that I wanted to address. Second is our staffing, only being 2 people per day. We staff 5 people per day, 24/7, 365. Those guys are running all over the place. They're running in the city limits. They're running out in the ESD as well. The third is that the ESD is still trying to acquire land for future growth. We're not still trying to acquire land. Land has been acquired. We purchased land in January and February of this year, and we are actively moving forward in building stations on those 2 properties. One of the other ones that I saw was that the Crandall Volunteer Fire Department abandoned the city. I'm here to tell you, we didn't necessarily abandon the city. We've talked lots of times about the multi-governance that was going on, and we even addressed basically moving forward as an ESD or as one entity and what that meant. You still have the same people, the same apparatus, responding to the same calls. You're still getting the same service. So to say that we abandoned, I don't necessarily agree with that. So in 2025, we had a comprehensive plan that was completed. It took about 6 or 7 months. Had an outside agency come in, build a comprehensive plan for growth. We're currently following that comprehensive plan, and we are well on track to complete that. It's a 15-year comprehensive plan, and I believe we're making progress. Staffing, currently we have 32 part-time personnel and 7 stipend volunteers. Out of those volunteers, most of them have either completed EMT school or completed fire school. We're actively putting those people through training so that they can get those certifications they need so they can either part-time with us or potentially work full-time for us one day. Again, 5 personnel daily. We have 2 engines, 2 brush trucks, 1 squad, and 2 command vehicles that we have that are responding to those calls. Stations, we're operating out of the current station here in town. That's our only station. It has 6 bunk rooms, which means it's 6 rooms for guys to sleep, as well as 2 officers' quarters. There's 2 beds in there. One's a lieutenant's office, one's a captain's office. For the future, we've again mentioned we secured land in January and February of this year for 2 new stations. The Heartland station is off of Griffin Lane. The groundbreaking will be in the next 4 to 6 weeks on that. And I've got plans that we've been working on here with our builder. That'll be about a 10-month build time. So once we break ground, 10 months from then, we'll have a station up north. Groundbreaking for our flagship station. It's also going to be a training center and admin building. We're going to have a training tower as well. That will be down here. I think it's the new 3039. Right now, we know it is South F-148 and the bypass. So that corner that meets right next to the church, that's where that station's going to be going. October 1st, we'll be hiring our first 12 full-time firefighters. Those will be officers and drivers. Potentially 12 additional firefighters would be added to that full-time. Everybody else that we would staff would be part-time. Those 12 additional firefighters would come from a SAFER grant that we have submitted for. We've got, pretty good promises that we'll, hopefully we can get that. So, also in January, our equipment's going to grow. So I mentioned the equipment we already have. We have 2 additional engines and a ladder truck that are going to be delivered in January. What this means, if there's a contract done with Seagaville, number one, we, once the stations are built and operational, especially the one down south, we will have we'll have a station that's right there next to Trinity Meadows as well as Creekview. If the contract goes through with Seagaville, we will not be that station responding to that neighborhood. It'll be this one here in town. So those residents need to be aware of that. You guys need to be aware of that. You have 2 departments essentially responding to the school district now. Even though everybody pays taxes, I know the county folks don't pay taxes, the city taxes, but they pay school district taxes. And so we're sending county, kids to our schools. You're going to have essentially 2 different departments responding to the school district. The number of personnel responding to emergencies will likely be less than what we can currently respond with. Again, starting in October, we're going from 5-man staffing to 7-man staffing. Adding those full-time guys, we'll have guys dedicated around the clock. Depending on the cost, it means more tax dollars will be spent on emergency services than what's currently being paid. We've already given an informal offer to the city manager, which is basically $691,500. It's just over that. Okay, so we're done. Okay, so essentially what I'm getting at is if we were to be annexed, or the city were to be annexed into the city, into the ESD, we're not going to charge any more if you go through a contract with us versus what the citizens are going to pay. What that breaks down to, like I said, $691,522 for a home valued at $300,000. What that means per year is $264. What it means per month for that home is $22, $5 a week, 72 cents a day. So it's just something that I want you guys to keep in mind when you're making this decision. Lastly, to wrap it up, I'm next door 5 days a week, 8 to 5. I highly suggest that you guys come talk to me, find out who we are, meet the guys, find out what capabilities we have, and hopefully we can work something out between all of us. So thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Christy Rogers, and I reside at 209 Country View Lane. My husband and I have been here since 2007, and fortunately, we have not had to have the services of the fire department. The whole fire department debacle is insane. The new ESD tax that they're wanting to add on to my tax dollars that I already pay is not in my favor. I'm going to already pay your fire department taxes through my city. I do not need an additional tax line on my taxes to help cover services outside. That's one. When the retail comes in, I know people are screaming that the taxes will go up, and I feel like part of the retail is going to cover a lot of that. It may not cover all of it. I'm not in La La Land. I know they probably will go up a little, but I would much rather pay a little bit more for my fire department to be housed in my city. If my house catches on fire and they're already at a fire in Heartland, they're not leaving that house that's burning in Heartland to come back over here to Crandall to put mine out. Somebody is going to suffer from this. So to keep a fire department in the city limits is the best interest of the citizens of Crandall. As far as the new little letter that went out today talking about, in my opinion only, that the city's gone behind the ESD's back to have a contract or investigate if we could have a contract with Sigaville. I personally am behind that. Behind their back, no. If I'm going to go buy a car from Joe Blow, but Jane over here can get it to me cheaper, why would I not see what the comparable cost is? So stands the reason why we would go outside of Seagaville. They have went behind our backs by putting it on the ballot because I've asked multiple times and have never got a straight answer of who the ESD has actually spoke to with the city or the city council. Still can't get a straight answer who that was discussed with. So that's a little shady in itself. Seagaville being new and being new to the area, not a problem. They're very capable, I'm sure, of learning the streets of Crandall. Just like the new people in Seagaville learn the streets of Seagaville. They're not incompetent or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. As for not, let's see, what else did I have? Josh made the comment that they're running all over. That is precisely the problem. They're in the ESD. Yes, they're here in the city limits. They're running all over. If Seagaville is housed here in our city limits, they will be in our city limits. And that's what we need as citizens. And as for the 61,000 or the 691,000 initial proposal that it would cost us for the ESD, I'm not quite sure, but I do believe that they initially said it was going to be about 570,000. So that's about 120,000 more than what was initially quoted. I'm not sure if that needs to be looked into. So my say is we bring in Seaville because they're here in our town and that's where they belong. We need our own fire station. Thank you.
I've got one more, excuse me, Adam Holden. Adam, you want to come up?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
Good afternoon, council. Adam Holden. I live in the Creekview neighborhood, former member of this council. We keep hearing about this deal with continuing with the ESD. And I want to tell you that there are three arguments to why continuing with the ESD is not a good decision for the city. First one is the lack of control. The municipality, it answers directly to its residents. It doesn't answer the county. If the city council fails to address the public safety concerns of the municipality itself and allows a countywide agency to succeed in its hostile takeover, they lose control. City administrators have zero authority to set operational policies, hire leadership, and mandate specific training protocols of the ESD. To give you an example of what this is like, this would be like Hutchins Barbecue letting a beef company out of Kansas City decide how they smoke their meat and what sauce to use. There's nothing wrong with Kansas City barbecue, but it ain't Texas barbecue, and we don't want it. The people of the city don't want the one size fits most that works for the county. We want what works for the city and what works for the people inside the city and what we pay for. Another argument is differing priorities. The county agencies operate on a macro level. They're responsible for vast geographic areas and unincorporated territories, just like the ESD. Consequently, their operational priorities will inherently differ from our priorities here within the city. County agencies have to prioritize regional emergencies over local quality of life issues. Give you an example of this, a county sheriff might prioritize felony investigations or highway safety over a city, while a municipality needs focus on neighborhood patrolling, school safety officers, and local traffic enforcement, not county-wide. During a regional crisis, this outside agency may and logically relocate resources to the area of greatest need. That may not be the city of Crandall. That might be Heartland, that might be Wildcat, that might be somewhere else, but it won't be the city of Crandall. This can temporarily leave the municipality under-resourced, and local assets are legally bound to county-wide dispatch. The final argument is the tax increase argument. Continuing this deal with the ESD and allowing the ESD to have another contract past what we've already agreed upon is setting the standard that we are allowing the ESD to inherently take over our fire services, which completely dilutes our argument that we're capable of providing those services ourselves, which means when this annexation agreement and this hostile takeover that was placed on the ballot recently will be placed on the ballot again, likely, and we won't have an argument as a city to say that we can protect ourselves. The county model is an economy of scale. Without strict municipal oversight, this frequently leads to unchecked cost escalation, and structural deficits are passed directly to the city's taxpayers. The ESD is an unchecked and unregulated independent county entity. They don't publish their financials. They don't allow members of the municipality on their boards. And if allowed to annex our city, they will simply add a tax burden on the residents of the city while continuing to operate unregulated and unchecked. In closing, I want to say, and I mean this on a personal level, that this transition is not a criticism of the ESD or their personnel or the services they provided. It is very difficult as a police officer to stand up here and tell you that firemen are our heroes, because they certainly are. And one of the jokes that they always like to make is if cops would have scored a few points higher on the exam, they'd have been firemen. And that is probably true. They are heroes. This is not about the personnel at the fire department. This is not about that building next door. This is about a transition that recognizing our community has outgrown the county model of one size fits all. Local control of our fire department ensures 100% of our tax dollars stay here to address 100% of our specific community priorities under the direct oversight of the people that live within the city limits, not by the county, not by a shadow board, not by an unchecked entity that is housed out in the county. A partnership with the Seagoville Fire Department is a huge step towards our own Crandall City Fire Department. It is not a continuation of a tumultuous relationship with an agency that is prioritizing its own growth revenue, and empire building over the needs of the people that live within this city. Crandall is not a castle to be conquered. It's our hometown. They have rolled the Trojan horse right up to our gate, and they're telling you it's filled with great service and lower costs. Instead, it's full of new taxes and another taxing authority that will be out of the citizens of this city's control. I urge this council and the voters of this city to see this deal for what it truly is. A deal with Seagoville is a step in the right direction that doesn't lead to another entity taking away our control and using our tax money for people who don't even live within our city.
All right. So item number 9, presentation on Seagoville Fire Department services. We do have Chief Todd Gilcrease this evening from the Seagoville Fire Department that's going to give a presentation on their services. And I appreciate Mayor Childress being here as well to support. And so I will ask Chief Gilcrease if you would come up, and we'll listen to your presentation.
See the green light. I'm taller than that light. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. Wow, y'all got a task. I also want to let you know that my city manager is here as well, Mr. Kerry Neal, along with some of my guys that support everything that we do in the city of Seagoville. I've got this down to about an hour and a half speech on these 3 pages. And I'll let you know the last one's just 1 sentence, but I'm kidding. I've forwarded this to you, and I know y'all have copies of this, and I'm just going to read this off and just kind of go through it. I'm not here to try to take over the city of Crandall. My goal is to make it to where the city of Crandall is eventually able to have their fire department. I live here in the city of Crandall. Don't know if I should say that too loud. I won't give my address with what you've got going on. But so first of all, appreciate the opportunity to discuss the emergency service capabilities of the Seagoville Fire Department. We're committed to protecting the lives and property of our residents, businesses, and visitors through rapid emergency response, fire suppression, rescue services, fire prevention, public education, and emergency medical care. We're guided by our core values of courage, confidence, discipline, and teamwork. And that comes with a statement of we stand ready. And all of my guys know that we stand ready constantly. We do have a mutual aid agreement with the city of Crandall currently that we do respond with the ESD. We do make the fires out at any place that they're responding. We already have that relationship. I'm not trying to change that relationship. I'm just trying to be part of, I was contacted, we reached out to other cities that do this same thing. And like I said, the end goal is to create you the capability to have your own fire department. That's going to best serve your citizens. Find where I left off. We provide professional, compassionate, and reliable service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Our firefighters bring decades of experience to the department with hire dates ranging from 1995 to 2025, creating a strong balance of seasoned leadership and motivated newer personnel. We're also proud to maintain an ISO public protection classification of a Class 2, reflecting our commitment to operational excellence and community protection. We currently employ 30 personnel, all full-time. We had part-times through the years. We've grown, and with the times we've tried to stay capable and managing what we had. Of the personnel, 4 of our personnel currently carry a paramedic certification, which gives us the ability to give a higher level of medical care. And we are paramedic preferred whenever we do test and hire, which means we look for the paramedics to come and join our group. Currently, we staff 9 personnel each day with a minimum staffing level of 6. As part of our continued commitment to improving service delivery, we're planning to increase our daily staffing to 10 personnel beginning in October, which will raise our minimum daily staffing to 9. Each day we staff 2 fully equipped fire engines, and 1 ladder truck. We have command level response capabilities, advanced emergency medical response personnel. And in addition to our frontline apparatus, Sigerville maintains a highly trained swiftwater rescue team equipped with 2 rescue boats and firefighters certified to the swiftwater technician level. Last year, we responded to 2,625 calls. I think when I was looking through all of our paperwork that we do all of our end of year stuff with, we responded to 41 structure fires. Some of those were here in Crandall, one right down the street from the fire station as well, and a lot of those out in the Heartland area. The possible staffing that we would be able to create for the city of Sigerville would establish a dedicated 3-person company stationed in the city of Crandall each day while maintaining the current level of emergency service for the residents of Sigerville. This is not based on reallocating existing Sigerville personnel or reducing services for our community. Rather, it's built on expanding our staffing to enhance service capabilities for both cities. Dedicated local response, a staffed emergency response unit would be located within the community. Immediate response capability for fire, emergency medical, rescue, and public service incidents. With that, you would gain access to the full resources of the Sigerville Fire Department, which is really included in our current mutual aid agreement. That would give you nearly 40, if this all processes with everybody getting all the right signatures in the right place, we would have nearly 40 career firefighters upon full implementation, 2 staffed fire engines, 1 staffed aerial ladder truck, command staffed and incident management resources, swiftwater rescue team capabilities, specialized rescue equipment, established training programs and operational expertise developed through decades of professional service. We're definitely scalable in emergency response. For routine emergencies, the dedicated Crandall Company will provide immediate local response. For larger incidents, including structure fires, major motor vehicle accidents, severe weather events, technical rescues, or water rescues, additionally, Sigerville personnel and apparatus would automatically respond, providing the staff and equipment and command structure necessary to safely and effectively manage the incident. Crandall would not be simply receiving a 3-person fire company. Crandall will be partnering with an established organization that provides access to nearly 40 professional firefighters, multiple fire apparatus, specialized rescue resources, experienced command officers, and operational depth necessary to respond to incidents ranging from routine medical calls to large-scale disasters. This presents an opportunity to both cities. It gives us more capabilities. It gives us, extra. It also gives you something. And that's the whole goal, is to give the city of Crandall something that they can tell their citizens, we're here to protect you, and we're going to do everything we can to make that happen and make it possible. That's pretty much all I have, and I really appreciate your time. I appreciate the support of my guys and my city manager, and especially my mayor, who's also our chaplain for our fire department. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. If I can't answer it, I will get you an answer.
You have any questions for Chief? Yes, sir.
Currently, it goes to Kaufman County Dispatch when you call 911. If this is something that happens, there would be a transfer. Kaufman County would transfer to us. We are in the process of doing a new station. We're rebuilding our central station, which is going to give us an opportunity to put in a mass notification system. It's not really called that, but it would give us capabilities of dispatching to other stations.
Sigerville has its own dispatching services.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do.
You've been chief in Sigerville?
Since 2013, December of 2013. So I'm November will be 30 years in the fire service for me. So this may be the last gig. I don't know.
You already said you live here.
I live here, married, got 2 kids, they're grown. So empty nest is fun. We enjoy that. They still try to come back occasionally, but we allow it. So,
And you did serve on the ESD board. You're familiar with this area in fire services? weren't
yes,
you?
sir. I was on the board. I did serve a term on the board. It's been years ago. I was still on shift, had my own business and time consumption. I wasn't able to do all of the Safe D, I think is what that was when that first came out. This was Harry Gerard and Chuck Cade and some other people that were on the board when I was on there. So it's been a while back. It just wasn't something that I could continue.
Sure.
Are you pretty confident that the services that the city of Sealville would bring to the city of Crandall would match or exceed what the services the ESD is providing for the city right now?
I'm hopeful that we can come together and enhance what you currently have to give you a greater capability from the ESD and from the city of Crandall. But I'll put my guys out there with anybody, with any department. I have no doubts in any of their abilities. Gives me a little bit more freedom at time.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. And let me just say before we move on, I know this is a passionate issue for everybody. I will say the ESD, our fire department has been out to my house multiple times and always done an excellent job. So as we have considered who we need to contract with, I'll echo what somebody said. It's not a reflection on the service of the current fire department. I very much appreciate what you guys do. So please don't take any of this as an attack or anything. So I just want to put that out there. I reached out to Mayor Childress. Somebody, Josh, you might have mentioned rumors and stuff. When our previous the Crandall Volunteer Fire Department was going up under the ESD, so I'm not going to say anything about abandoning. They, as was mentioned, they never liked having 2 bosses, and I understand that. So, but obviously, when that contract was canceled, we weighed our different options, and so I called Mayor Childress. So, if anybody's got an issue with that, blame me. But we have tried to do this above board. So let's move on to item number 10, presentation on the Kaufman County Housing Authority. I believe we have our county judge here this evening to make that presentation.
You know, our county is growing so fast, and everyone knows that. The firemen know it because they make so many runs from Crandall here to Heartland and to Wildcat and other places. We have all of northern part of Kaufman County is inundated with Section 8 vouchers. Terrell is the only city in the county that has their own program. And what that means is they have what they call not really inspectors, but that's what it is. When an incident happens, no matter what it is, let's say you have a voucher, David, and it's for you. And then all of a sudden, Jim Bob Bill moves in with you, and Jim Bob Bill gets in trouble. The police come, and then the housing authority has the right to say, you've got to move. You have violated the rules. Without that, and we see what happens, it continues on, and there's no enforcement. However, right now, Kaufman County is receiving more vouchers than any other county in the 7-county member that we're in North Texas. So we're getting vouchers from Mesquite, Garland, Dallas, Grand Prairie, Irving. They're all sending them here. And how they end up here is in the major cities, they're in apartments. Once they get here, they say, oh, we've got a house. We don't have to be in an apartment. And they're going to pay for it. At least 70%, sometimes more, depending on your disability or the criteria that you use. So they want to come out here in the county where they think it's safe, but a lot of them are bringing their issues with them. And therefore, this year we'll spend over $500,000 putting juveniles in detention centers until we get ours built. And right now we have 18 with major serious crimes involving guns. And I talked to Trennis today, our juvenile director. We've never had that many in the history of Kaufman County. So trouble, when one comes, it seems like a lot of them come. And I'm sure some of you have seen the issue with Gateway. Like 90-something% of the homes are owned by a corporation out of state. It's guaranteed government money to those guys. They don't care who's there or not there. Now, one issue we have, this is a long process. Once it's established, after a while, the government will pay for our employees. We need to start with 2, 3 is what we need, according to the lady in Terrell. I've asked Forney and I've asked David to put in the budget. It's going to cost about $75,000 a year. That includes all the benefits for these employees. But that won't be, if we get started by January, be lucky because HUD has to approve us having it, number one. And they've not done that. Have not done that. Congressman Gooden and our DA have met with the director of HUD in the Dallas area. They're very helpful in everything they're trying to do. But if we get this, that takes away from their numbers. So, sometimes people fight over territory and numbers. That's how they justify their position and their income. So it's an uphill battle, but we're determined to do this because it's killing our schools. This is one way we can help to control some of the people that are coming here. They still have to have an infraction before something happens. But if we have it and they're not porting these people, what that means, David, if you're coming to Crandall, you've got to call or be notified by our division. Hey, run his record. If you've got a bad record over in Dallas, we're not going to give you a voucher for Crandall or anywhere else in the county, wherever it might be. And so that way we can thwart some of these issues before they ever happen. So that's our intent. And I'm thinking, if we get it started by the first of the year, we furnish the office, we furnish all the furniture, computers and everything. Once we're up and running, the government will reimburse us come in the second year. This is just kind of a seed money to help us get going. That's it. And some of the developers in Forney have offered to pay quite a bit of money to subsidize this also. So it's not just Crandall and Forney, but that's where the major issues are coming from. That's where the population is. So that's it in a nutshell.
Obviously a lot of, our school, Crandall ISD has more students than the city of Crandall has citizens. And obviously that's just a reflection of the growth out in the county.
Sure.
Does a county housing authority, I guess, not only impact what's coming into the city itself? I'm assuming it's
in the county.
It's county.
Anywhere in the county.
Okay. Okay.
It'll be a countywide, not just Crandall, Forney. It'll be anywhere in the county.
Okay.
Because that affects every school district.
Okay.
It affects our jails. It definitely affects our public defender's office, who needs more attorneys, more staff, more paralegals. It's talking about running the tax bill up. So we're trying to prevent that. This is one measure we think we can do.
Okay.
So that's all I have to share with you tonight.
All right. Any questions for Judge Allen?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
sir.
y'all.
Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. We'll move on to item number 11, discuss the city of Crandall obtaining ownership and responsibility for the maintenance of the Wildcat walking biking trail. This is something that one of our council members asked to look at. For those of you that don't know what we're going to be discussing, if you go out 148 going north towards Wildcat Ranch, right before you get to Wildcat Ranch, there's that place on the left, and it's a mountain bike trail, and it's a little parking lot there, and it goes back up. I think it probably follows that creek. And so, as we talk about this, just for those of y'all that may not know, that's the property that we're talking about. Currently, it's owned by, I don't know if it's the Wildcat Ranch HOA, but it's the developer. Okay, so that's the property we're talking about. So I'll let our city manager walk us through this, and then I'm sure we'll have some questions.
Yes, so the request is to look into the possibility of the city taking over this property. There are a few things that need to align in place in order for the city to be able to, at least for staff to recommend the council taking over this property. Some of those things are, the property is dedicated, fully dedicated to the city with no, contingencies to it, right? If the city decides to do something totally different with the property 10 years from now, we will be able to have the ability to do that. No minimum maintenance requirements on the property either. The city goes through a bad year, that we need to be able to, reallocate some of those funds for maintenance to more essential, services that the city needs to provide. One of the things, and this is a great timing for the council to discuss this as we're going through the budget. Staff has not looked into, how much it would cost to basically bring the property back to life. Council member Stacy and myself, we visited the site maybe about a month ago. It does need some rehab to be able to bring it back to life. And then we also need to consider what's going to be the yearly maintenance costs for this property. So these are things that the staff recommends the council to consider, as well as the city recently acquiring the 38 acres for the park. That's going to take some funding as well to be able to bring it to where we want it to be so that it can be utilized by the public. So these are what staff needs. The direction that I need is if council would entertain or is interested in pursuing this so that I can put my resources and time into basically figuring out, how much is it going to cost to bring it back to life? Is it worth it? So that we can determine if this is financially feasible for the city to take on. So council has the opportunity to discuss it amongst yourselves and basically discuss priorities. I know we had our budget workshop last a couple of weeks ago. So this would definitely come out of the general fund to be able to fund it.
And I know I've asked you a couple of questions on this, and I've talked to Stacy a little bit. I know for me, and my questions have been, I drive by that a lot, and I'm sure we all do. And there's cars there sometimes, a lot of times, there's not. I'm not sure how often it's used.
Mhm.
And when you look at, okay, and
It's
that,
not open.
okay. And my question is, I guess, and Stacy has some really good ideas about what it could be used for. And I'd like to hear those before we make a decision. I'll go ahead and say that. But just want to make sure whatever the cost is to maintain it and get it cleaned up is worth it when you compare it to making sure that it's being utilized. If it's not open, obviously it's not being utilized. I did have a question, 3 or 4 years ago, or before Dr. Murray, Dr. Eldridge, I know at one point had some concerns about students going back there and doing stuff. And so, David, I know I'd ask you about Chief Frierson's opinion. Is that something we want to have to monitor and control? I don't think he's got an issue with it. I was looking for him. There you are. Do you have any issues with that? Okay. That was just if there are issues out there, I didn't know if we wanted to get involved, but if there are none, then maybe that's not a big deal. But I know Stacy's got pretty intimate knowledge of the park and maybe has some ideas. And so I'd like to, and I'm not the only one up here that can talk, but I'd like to hear some of that before we make a decision or start using time and resources. Right. See what we could use it for, what the costs are, and what we think the benefit would be. So, Stacy, I'll tell you what, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what are some thoughts you have for that property, what we could use it for?
Well, I think it's going to be easy just to maintain. Right now, it hasn't been open. We go spend, I don't know, a couple of people, just a couple of weekends to get it up and going. And then all to maintain a trail like that, it's every 2 weeks unless there's a storm. It's in a flood zone, so you just got to wait till it dries out and just go pick up some trees. It's just not a lot of, we just don't have the volunteers. That's why it's closed. So, what was the question?
Just because I'm not a mountain biker. I know you were and have done that. What?
Dorba, so it was built in 2022, and then we actually had a race. It was a 24-hour race with Dorba. And in Dallas, there are 25 mountain bike trails here. Crandall is one of them. We put that on the map. And that 24-hour race, everybody came here. It was about 200 people. I mean, it was a 24-hour race, not all at one time, but I'm just saying it's a big deal to have a trail in your town. You can also put it in the schools, get NICA programs.
Okay.
I can go on and on,
Okay.
but it's a big deal.
And I
have
don't know all
here-
that. And so I would like to know some of those things, before we decide.
Yeah, and I'm
What we
working
wanna
with
do.
the developer to get it dedicated to us so we can maintain that and that way it can be open for everyone in it's a walking and mountain bike. It's about 4 miles. You don't have to be a mountain biker, anymore. You can walk it too. So it's just a great thing to have here. It's built, it's 4 miles. Let's go.
Right. Right. Any other input, any other questions or something you'd like to see from the council before we really decide if this is something we want to move forward with?
I'd be curious to see what it would take to cost wise to rehab it and what it would maintain it. What I really don't want to do, we just spend a whole bunch of money on a park and I don't want to take away from that.
Right. Is everybody good with David putting pen to paper on some numbers and really looking at cost and plan and?
I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. Right now, we just acquired a park. That's gonna take some good amount of resources. Just vegetation management on a 4-mile trail, it's not gonna be that easy. I don't think it's gonna be that
It's
cheap
not a big
to.
expense. It's not gonna be a big expense,
Well-
what you're thinking. It's not gonna take away from the park.
Well, whatever expense it is, I don't think it's gonna be
It's just people.
that,
We
that,
already have the equipment. Doorbell supplies the equipment. There's a big trailer there. There's all the equipment there. We just need people.
and money, I mean,
How?
because plants don't cut themselves, you have to have,
Yeah, we just need a couple
tools and
people.
everything to
The
cut them
tools are
and,
there.
and maintain them.
Doorbell provides all the
Um,
tools are there.
Okay.
Well,
I tell you what, that's a concern I have because we have spent money and the park across from the high school has got to be priority one. But this does look like an opportunity as well. I think it's probably worth, to your point, I'd like to know how much it is going to cost. There obviously is going to be a financial cost and hopefully it's not that much, but I think probably looking at some real numbers to get it up and going and then maintain it. And if it's a couple of people every couple of weeks, then it may not be that big of a deal. But I think probably some hard information to work off of is prudent.
And David, could we possibly have that posted on the website with the ideal and see if who's all interested in it? And maybe who would be willing to volunteer to help maintain it if the equipment's already there?
So basically do a survey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, I want to remind everybody, this is contention to the owner of the park to
Yeah.
be able to dedicate it fully to the city, right?
Right.
As long as,
That's step
That's-
one. That's
Yeah,
step
I'll-
one.
I'll-
step one.
I've sent a
Yeah.
proposal to them. I'm waiting to
Yeah.
hear back and to go to a meeting or do whatever I gotta
Right.
do to get
So-
it to.
I don't think I would waste your time
until.
until
Yeah.
we know if that's possible. or
Yeah,
not.
I agree.
I agree.
Very good.
Safety in the trail is also something we need to consider because that's an additional resource to,
Yeah,
Keep it
no, you're
safe,
100% correct.
Chief needs to get a little heart help. People put him on those mountain
Yeah.
bikes.
We'll answer calls out there with Arnie.
All right. Any other direction for our city manager to explore this? All right. Well, David, if you'll do that, we'll take a look at it.
That's fine.
All right. Then we'll move on to item 12. If I can just get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion from Scott,
second.
a second from George. All those in favor? All right. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Partner with some scouts to get that labor free. As a human, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I know for my brother.
I don't make your life hard. I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know that
Oh, and so.
Lots and lots of fun.
Yeah.
It's been busy? Doesn't seem like it.
Just, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Do you think
Well, he doesn't